Mercedes' electric expansion continues with this, the EQE. Now, students of Mercedes naming convention will realise that E means this is a mid-size. Well, it's not really a sedan, is it? But what it is an important new player in the luxury EV segment. But is it any good? Let's find out. Three variants are available, starting at the EQE 300 and stretching to the EQE 53 AMG. But today, we're going to focus on the EQE 350, which costs about $155,000 plus on roads. The most obvious competitor is the Porsche Taycan, but the BMW i4 and even Genesis G80 electrified certainly play in the same ballpark. All EQEs use the same 90 kilowatt-hour battery pack. The 300 has a single electric motor at the rear, whereas the 350 adds another one at the front for all-wheel drive. 0 to 100 k's now is claimed to take 6.3 seconds, but probably more importantly, claimed maximum range is an impressive 462 kilometers using the more stringent WLTP regulations. Mercedes doesn't claim any specific charging times, but it's the usual deal. 5 or 6 hours at AC wall box at home, around an hour to top up using a DC charger, and around 30 minutes or so using a DC fast charger. Now, it's not for me to tell you if the EQE looks good or not. You can make your own mind up, but there are specific reasons it looks the way it does. In terms of size, it's a little bit bigger than the current E-Class, so a fairly big car, but with a much longer wheelbase in order to accommodate that battery pack. The shape allows for a coefficient of drag of just 0.22, which is an extremely low number and allows it to just slip through the air. Another fun fact is that the body shell is made from 100% recycled steel, which helps its eco-credentials. And lastly, the 300 and 350 look identical, except the 350 gets a slightly bigger rear spoiler and of course the badge on the back. It's a similar story in here. The 300 and 350 look identical and come loaded with equipment. Everything is standard. Head-up display, these big screens, panoramic sunroof, Burmester stereo, these heated sports seats. You really only have to choose the colour. You can have black or, if you're the adventurous type, even pure white. It's a slightly unusual looking interior, and I guess some will like it and some won't. We've got this big expanse of wood here on the dash. The huge strip of ambient lighting around the cabin is quite cool. The steering wheel is very chunky. In here we've got a couple of USB-C ports, a couple of cup holders and a wireless charging pad. One thing I will say though is there are quite a lot of haptic controls in here that you're meant to slide and swipe, and look, they work okay, but they're not the easiest things to use, especially while you're driving. This is actually the small infotainment screen. The one in the EQE 53 AMG is substantially bigger. You're unlikely to feel shortchanged though, as it's still pretty giant and is fairly easy to navigate to find your sat-nav and audio and vehicle functions, and there's smartphone mirroring as well. Here in the back, that stretched wheelbase means plenty of leg room, and it's quite a comfy bench too, though it doesn't extend all the way under your legs. Now, the coupe roofline and the panoramic sunroof means taller folk may struggle for headroom, but at 180 centimeters, I'm still okay. We've got a couple of USB-C ports hidden down here, and fold down the center armrest, press it once, you've got like a tablet holder or a pen holder. Press it again, cup holders. The boot lid is electrically operated, and the boot's a pretty decent size, partially thanks to the fact that there's no spare wheel, just a puncture repair kit under here, and you can fold down the rear seat remotely using these buttons here. Electricity is a great way to power a luxury car. For instance, nothing kills a luxury vibe faster than a gearbox clunking or stumbling, whereas you don't have to worry about that here. You don't have to worry about engine noise or vibration, and that instant torque means a large, heavy car can still get going pretty quickly. In general, the EQE drives pretty well. The power is delivered quite smoothly, the steering has a welcome bit of weight and connection to it, and the ride is pretty comfy. Though one of the only options is adaptive air suspension, and I think it's a box probably worth ticking, as the standard car can feel a bit heavy in the way it deals with lumps and bumps. None of the 300s or 350s here at the launch have it fitted, but the 53 AMG has it standard, and it does feel a bit better resolved. There are a few bugbears, however. The first of which is that rear vision is very ordinary. It's not just the fact that the rear window is very small, there are reflections from the rear parcel shelf. The brakes also feel very soft underfoot. Now, brakes can be very difficult to get right in electric cars because of the regenerative braking effect, and the EQE doesn't quite nail it. Again, the 53 AMG feels a lot more natural, so perhaps a little more calibration is required for these standard models. Speaking of regen, these steering wheel paddles don't change gear because there aren't any. Instead, they adjust the regen, which is always a handy feature. You can click it up, so no regen, so you can just sail along on the highway, or click it back for strong regen for one pedal driving in heavy traffic. Merc's active safety systems are also some of the best. They're still there when you need them, but also happy to sit in the background. And this steering wheel now has pressure sensors in it, so the days of having to constantly wiggle the steering to keep the active cruise control alive are long gone. My final comment is in regards to model selection. Mercedes expects the 350 to be the volume seller, and I can kind of see why, thanks to the attraction of the extra power and all-wheel drive, but I kind of prefer the 300. There's not a lot in it, but being lighter, it feels a little bit more agile and you get more range too. Yes, the 350 is quicker, but it's not really a car that goads you into sporty driving, so I don't really see the point of having the extra power if you never feel like using it. And that's kind of my verdict on the EQE. It's not perfect, but anyone familiar with Mercedes that wants to move into an electric car will feel immediately at home, and there's plenty of space and tech, and it drives well enough too. There's nothing wrong with the 350 per se, but when the 300 looks exactly the same inside and out and it's 20 grand cheaper, well, I'll buy the 300 and pocket the 20 grand. Thanks for watching.